They made science explosive. They turned curiosity into chaos and myths into must-see TV.
We've made a career out of making what seems impossible possible.
But behind the sparks, the laughs, and the unforgettable experiments, tragedy quietly crept in.
I'm not afraid of dying, but I'm not ready to die.
Jessie Combs, she died in a crash trying to break her own land speed record, trying to go more than 500 miles per hour.
Fans remember the crashes and explosions, but not always the heartbreak. This is Tragic Details about the Mythbusters cast. For over 200 episodes, he was the quiet genius in the workshop, the man who made robots dance and myths crumble. Grant Imahara wasn't just a TV host. He was an engineer's engineer, a mind that moved from the starlit worlds of Star Wars to the explosive reality of Mythbusters.
Sometimes in the design process, you just have to get in there and get your hands dirty. We're just gonna have to figure this out as we go, which is gonna mean a lot of trial and error. Probably mostly error.
Before the show, he spent nearly a decade at Industrial Light and Magic, officially credited as an R2 technician for his work on the prequel trilogy's R2-D2 units. He was a model maker on films like Galaxy Quest and contributed to the visual effects of the Matrix and Terminator franchises. On Mythbusters, he was the go-to expert for robotics and electronics, the one who brought the team's wildest concepts to life. But his passion for creation didn't stop there. He famously designed and built Jeff Peterson, the robotic sidekick for late-night host Craig Ferguson. In his final months, he poured his own time and resources into building a lifelike, animatronic Baby Yoda, with the sole purpose of bringing it to children's hospitals. But in July 2020, a different reality asserted itself. It began with migraines, then a sudden, sharp decline. At just 49, an aneurysm, hidden and silent, ruptured in his brain. The hands that could build anything couldn't rebuild what was breaking inside. He passed away, leaving a silence in the workshops he once filled with innovation. His legacy continues through the Grant Imahara STEAM Foundation, a final act of engineering to build a better future for others. Some people are content to watch from the sidelines. Jessie Combs was not one of them. From a young age, she was drawn to the smell of gasoline and the roar of an engine, a passion that led her from a degree in custom automotive fabrication to a career spent in the heart of high-performance vehicle culture. She was a builder, a racer, and for a time, a host on Mythbusters, where her expertise felt right at home among the explosions and experiments. But her true calling was always speed. She earned the title Fastest Woman on Four Wheels in 2013. But for Combs, records were merely temporary benchmarks. Her ultimate goal was the absolute women's land speed record, a title held by Kitty O'Neill since 1976. This pursuit led her to the North American Eagle Project, a team that had repurposed a Cold War-era F-104 starfighter jet into a 56-foot-long, 52,000-horsepower machine designed to break the sound barrier on land. In August 2019, in the vast flat emptiness of Oregon's Alvord Desert, she made her final attempt. On her last run, the car reached a staggering 522.783 miles per hour. But as she accelerated further, the front wheel assembly, likely damaged after striking an unseen object on the desert floor, collapsed. At that velocity, the mechanical failure was instantaneous and catastrophic. The vehicle veered violently, disintegrating across the playa. Jessie Combs died from blunt force trauma to the head before the wreckage was engulfed in flames. She was 39. Months later, after analyzing the data, Guinness World Records certified her speed. She had not only broken Kitty O'Neill's long-standing record, but had become the first woman to do so in over 40 years. She died chasing a ghost and in the process became a legend.
We're gonna have to do it. 3, 2, 1.
Holy crap!
On screen, she was the artist, the adventurer, the the one who brought a bright, inquisitive energy to the often explosive world of Mythbusters. For a decade, Carrie Byron was the reliable, happy-go-lucky member of the build team, but as she revealed in her memoir Crash Test Girl, that persona concealed a lifelong struggle few ever saw. Since the age of 12, she contended with severe bouts of depression, a secret she kept for 30 years. The sadness would arrive like a fog, accompanied by mood swings and sleep difficulties. After the birth of her daughter, it deepened into postpartum depression, a heavy 6-month battle fought away from the cameras.
Only these guys would try to make a pregnant woman throw up.
It's payback.
Her willingness to speak about it later marked a different kind of bravery. Not about facing explosions, but about confronting the quiet internal battles that so many fight in silence, proving that strength isn't always loud. When the Mythbusters needed to defy gravity, they called Eric Gates. Billed as an amateur rocket expert, he was anything but amateurish. He was the man who understood the violent, beautiful science of propulsion, appearing in the show's earliest days to guide their rocket-based experiments. He was a cancer survivor, a man who had already faced down his own mortality. When he wasn't on television, he was an electrical contractor. In 2009, while working on the roof of a business complex, the surface gave way. He fell 30 feet, crashing through a skylight. The blunt force chest injuries were fatal. The man who helped send things soaring into the sky died in a sudden, earthbound accident. He was 47 years old, a reminder that for all the calculated risks on set, the most mundane dangers are often the ones that find us. He was the co-host who stood closest to the countless explosions, a figure synonymous with the show's chaotic brand of science.
Head of cabbage in 3, 2, 1! Yeah! Woo! Yeah! That was fabulous.
So when you learn Adam Savage has significant hearing loss, you might assume it was the cost of doing business. The truth is more complicated. The condition is congenital, a defect in his Eustachian tubes he's had since birth. For years, he resisted hearing aids, admitting the idea made him feel lesser. In a video on his tested YouTube channel, he spoke of the isolation that hearing loss creates, how it can quietly sequester you from the world.
So hearing aids have been a net, magnificent boon to my life.
Getting the devices, he said, didn't just improve his life, it improved the lives of everyone around him. It was a different kind of myth-busting, a public admission that vulnerability is not a weakness, and that the most important tools are often the ones that help us connect with others. Toby Bellis was the daredevil, the one who often put his own body on the line for the sake of a myth. But his closest brush with death didn't happen in front of a camera. At 19, after a routine sinus surgery, he awoke to alarming news. Doctors, alerted by his family's medical history, told him he had a potentially fatal congenital heart defect. At any moment, he could just drop dead. He recalled the terror of that diagnosis, a young man with his whole life ahead of him, suddenly forced to confront his own fragility. He refused the recommended surgery and defibrillator and was referred to a cardiac specialist. Then something shifted. Subsequent tests showed his heart was completely normal. Bellis, a devout Christian, attributes it to a miracle. It was a private, terrifying, and ultimately life-affirming experience for the man who would later make a career out of walking to the edge of danger, and somehow, always walking back. They entertained millions, shattered expectations, and in some cases paid a devastating personal price. From shocking accidents to sudden losses, the Mythbusters cast didn't just test myths. They lived through moments more heartbreaking than any scripted stunt. Which of these stories hit you the hardest? Share your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. If you found this video moving, please like and subscribe. There are more behind-the-scenes tragedies and untold stories coming soon. Thank you for watching.